Hello， 大家好，这是 Alice Talk 第一个关于房地产的投资。为什么会有这期的节目呢？是因为前段时间我刚刚跟 Xavier 我们去曼谷买了第一套在泰国的 condo。那么买回来之后呢，就有很多朋友问我们说，那为什么会想去曼谷买房子啊？那现在是不是一个投资的好机会呢？那就录一期视频，让大家大概的介绍一下我们为什么会有这样的想法。那如果大家有什么问题的话呢，也可以私信我，或者是加我的微信公众号，然后呢可以在后台去跟我聊一下你们的想法。所以大概就是这样子，我可能跟 Xavier 一起回答大家一共有6、7个问题。好的。OK， 所以下面的话题呢，我就会用中文讲一点点，然后剩下的情况就跟 Xavier 用英文说，因为他的中文也不是特别好。So people ask us like why we chose Bangkok to buy property. Here, we also ask Xavier's opinion because he's a foreigner, like a Westerner who doesn't know nothing about Southeast Asia. And what research did you do?
So I just looked a little bit at basically Thailand's economy and as well just on the ground seeing actually how the city of Bangkok is developing. I also have some friends from university that live in Bangkok. So that allowed me to get an idea of what is the future for Thailand. And then you have a lot of banks, insurance companies, high-tech companies that are starting to actually headquarter or set up offices in Bangkok. So it seems to me to be a very vibrant and developing city with a lot of potential that is still untapped.
Okay, so we have a lot of friends and investors in China because a lot of people has already started investing in Bangkok properties, especially Chinese people. We Chinese people love properties. So they started like already 2 or 3 years ago, and they said the price at then was much cheaper than right now. But like, what do you think according to, because your friend lived there, so?
It seems to be far more affordable. Prices are going up, so it's definitely something where you have to act quite quickly before the market is a bit out of reach. But the price actually seemed to be pretty fair, all things considered, for most people for now. As far as different types of investments, so there's a lot of Chinese obviously that are now investing because of the high-speed train that's developing, and Bangkok is going to be one of the stops on this, so connecting a good part of Southeast Asia basically with China. It's going to be a key component in Southeast Asia that are investing, and there's also foreigners. For properties, I think it was about, the buildings were being sold 51% to locals, or just to Thai people, and then 49% to foreigners. And the place that we went to, there were a few Thai people, and then we saw Malaysians as well. We saw other people from Hong Kong.
You just answered my third question. Because my third question was, a lot of people out there concerning about like whether the price is so high or because Chinese investors are flowing to Thailand and buying our properties.
No, not at all. It seems that you have people from a little bit everywhere really buying these properties. And while it is interesting, I think for Chinese people, because the Chinese property market seems to be already a little bit saturated and it's getting quite expensive. Hong Kong market is obviously quite expensive, but you have these opportunities now in Southeast Asia, mostly in Bangkok.
And what's your impression about Bangkok at that time?
Bangkok is a very vibrant city, and it's one that's developing. When we arrived, it was quite late at night. We were actually, I think, at the hotel around 2:30, 3 in the morning, and we went through one of the more, an area that had a lot of bars, a lot of restaurants, and even that late in the evening, it was just full of people everywhere. There were traffic jams. It seemed like quite fun, but definitely a city that is very busy. And then when you see the current sort of financial center, the main business center of Bangkok, it's well developed, you've got nice properties everywhere, it seems busy, and then you've got this whole new area around the new G Tower, which was I think built 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. And you can just see that that's growing really quickly, a lot of developments happening, new metro lines. But it seems to be a very fun city. and one with a lot of opportunities.
So when you are buying property, you're thinking either to sell in a few years or to rent it out. And it's a very frequent question that being asked. And also we discussed this before. So
the properties that we were looking at, they are not properties I think that you would buy and then quickly sell. Once it's finished developing. We're looking here at something which is being built, and what you would want to do in that situation, the way that this is being set up, is actually to rent out the property. So in our case, we chose a building that will eventually be sold to a hotel group. So we will have the option of either renting the apartment out ourselves or giving it over to the hotel, and they will handle that part.
I think it's all depend on locations. There are several locations. It's like a mid-level in Hong Kong, as Tong Lo, Ekama, those locations, and properties. Actually, the market is already very mature, and there's not much new land and new properties. So if you buy properties over there, you might be able to sell it very. But also, those properties are really pricey, super pricey. Like as Beijing, like Shenzhen is not as priced actually. But we chose the new CBD area, which they already have a lot of properties like in building, and so there are a lot of new properties. You wouldn't expect to sell it out really quickly. So I think this depends on how much money you have. Like if you're really rich and you want to I have like 5 million, I just want to buy a really, popular one and sell it out immediately. You can do that actually, and it all depends. Do you have any advice to investors who are interested, and maybe some tips for them before they make the decision?
I think the key thing is knowing what you want in the property, understanding sort of who are you going to be targeting exactly with the property that you'll be buying. So if you're looking for obviously foreigners that are going to be there staying for a long time, they might not necessarily be in the center of Bangkok. They'll be maybe a little bit more on the outside, and they'll be looking at easy ways of accessing that area. If you're looking at people, businessmen who will be maybe just traveling into Bangkok to see their local offices or something like that, then obviously you're looking more in the either in the older or the new sort of CBD area. But it's really understanding who you want your target to be. As well, there's a lot of traffic jams in Bangkok, so that's something to take into consideration. Is how easy is it to reach the property, through public transport. The farther away you are, basically, the more it's going to take people to get to and from work, and the CBD is extremely busy.
Yeah, that's why actually close to MRT or BTS line is really important, especially for now. So that's one of the things. And we're going to show people the property we bought, but there's no advertisement, so like just showing you, and we're not mentioning what's the location or the developer, but we do know some developers, but majority they sell to Chinese people only. They have like great margin, that's very expensive. That's why we didn't choose that one, which one I'm talking. And so the last question is about our choice. We can tell people, because we're going to show them the video later, we can tell them why we chose that location, and why that's that developer, and why that loft. Yes, we bought a loft. I really love that one.
Okay, so one of the main things that made us actually choose that apartment was just the size of that particular loft. So it was 34 square meters, I think, in the bottom level, but then the upper part, the bedroom in the loft, is 12 square meters, and you don't actually pay up. A lot of other apartments that we saw, they were nice, but they felt a little bit more cramped. It was more about the functionality rather than feeling comfortable in the place, so they usually felt a little bit smaller. So I'm sure for people who might have been like staying for a very short time, maybe it would be comfortable, but you wouldn't necessarily want to stay there for a prolonged period of time.
Feels like hotel, not like
it feels, they feel more like hotels in the end. Just so that's why we made that choice. It was just the right location in the future, we think, for that, and you get the right feeling.
Okay, thank you. That's how we made our choice. Hopefully it's useful to your, like if you want make your own decision. So thank you. That's it. 希望对大家有帮助。这大概就是我们为什么会选择在曼谷投资房地产的一些原因。然后其实有很多的问题，就大家会经常问，包括我在买之前，我也做了非常多的工作。但是我有一个 advice， 就是 sincere advice 要给大家，就是什么呢？就是我不太建议要去买那种包租的房子，特别是海边、普吉、清迈。就是房地产投资其实就一个原则嘛 ，location。就是 location， 就地理位置很重要。那基本上只要是包租的，通常不会特别好，而且羊毛出在羊身上。对，但是关于它价位便不便宜啊，值不值这个价的，我觉得就因人而异嘛。那曼谷现在房子基本上就跟北京、上海比吧，或者是不要跟香港比了，我觉得它还是相对很便宜的。而且期房呢也不需要付全款，所以我觉得这也是为什么我们会选择的一个原因。好的，那今天这期就这样子啦。就希望跟大家多讨论，如果有什么问题的话，我们可以再联系。就这样，拜拜。